All right, we're gonna try this again, everybody. Say hello to Jackson, everybody. All right, we're gonna start this again. I got the thumbs up from Mr. J's class, so we are good to go. All right, we're gonna jump right into questions. So, Sonia, will you please share your questions for Jackson? Yeah, please.
What did you find in Greece?
Well, when I was in Greece, I was actually doing a survey of a region. So we weren't actually digging or excavating. We were just looking at the surface area and finding things that have been left behind to look at like the density of the population in the region. So we were finding things like pottery, like little shards of pottery, lithics, which are like carved stones made by more ancient societies. We were finding a lot of modern trash, lots of things just cast off by the roadside, and some glass, things like that, roof tiles. Yes.
I've got a follow-up question to that. So, on average, how much of your time when you're actually working is spent finding things, and how much is doing like prep work or other stuff like that? Like, what percentage of the time you're actually like digging in the ground?
Okay, well, we would wake up at about 5:30, and then head to the field at about 6:15. We'd be there from 7 until about 2 in the afternoon, because then it starts to get really hot in Greece. It gets up until around like 100 degrees every afternoon. So then we would head back to where we were storing all of our finds, and we would clean them, because you're pulling it out of the ground, so it's covered in dirt. So you got to go back and you've got to clean it all. So we would spend a few hours doing that and doing some like mapping stuff with the computer, and then after 6 or 7, we had free time, so hanging out in Greece.
Charlie.
Oh, sure. What kind of artifacts do you study?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Oh, what kind of artifacts do you study?
Do I study?
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the Roman side, even though I was in Greece this summer. Specifically, I look at houses a lot. I'm very interested in Roman houses and households. So, if you've ever been to Pompeii or seen pictures of Pompeii, I'm very interested in that kind of stuff.
Ariana from one of my other classes wants to know, after you realized you were interested in archaeology, what did you do next to go more in depth into it?
I became interested after taking a class in college called Roman Art and Archaeology. So I just continued taking classes in this field. There are 2 fields that really concentrate on archaeology when you're in college, which is anthropology, which is the study of mankind, and classics. Classics studies like the archaeology of Rome and Greece, while anthropology is more like the archaeology of the New World, like North America and South America. So depending on what kind of archaeology you want to do, you can go into those 2 fields.
Laura?
What's the most interesting thing you found?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you again.
What's the most interesting thing you found?
The most interesting thing? Well, we found a big marble basin this summer that was like embedded into a riverbank, which actually we didn't find while we were doing one of our units. Like how we do a survey is you like break up the entire region into like sections, and then you just like walk them like 10 meters apart. But somebody needed to take a bathroom break and went over into the trees and found a big marble basin from like probably 1,500 years old, like embedded into this riverbank. When I was in Italy, what is that, 6 years ago now? I'm so old. I found a cistern by accidentally falling into it, so that was cool too.
Another one from another class. Warren asks you if you were able to find any artwork or paintings when you've been excavating.
No, just no. Paintings, I mean, are, like, as we think of them, aren't really big until like 700, 800 years ago. The ancients would do a lot more like frescoes, where they would like piece together like little colored blocks on a wall or something. And I've found small little chips of those before, but never an intact one.
Paul.
What's the craziest thing you ever found?
The craziest thing?
Yeah.
We found a bomb, an unexploded mortar shell. That's probably the craziest thing. We had to call the cops, and then they called the army, and the army called the bomb disposal specialists. It was a process.
All right, so I've got another question. This is actually from somebody in this class who will be anonymous. It says, what's the most important thing you've learned from studying archaeology?
Most important thing I've learned? Oh, God. That is... I don't know, just how much of our culture comes from these ancient sources. I mean, our founding fathers in the U.S. really loved ancient Rome and based a lot of our systems and a lot of the like imagery you see in Washington, D.C. is based on imagery that you can see in ancient Rome as well. Pretty cool.
Another question from an unnamed student in this class is, how exciting is it when you find an artifact?
How exciting is it? Well, it depends on the artifact. Like the Marble Basin thing was, people were talking about it for days afterwards. But if like pieces of pottery in ancient Rome and Greece are things that you just find everywhere. Like the villa that I was staying at was built on top of an ancient acropolis, like an ancient city, high city of this town. And there was pottery shards all over the place. So that's just not special anymore. It's cool when you first get there and you want to collect every single piece. But eventually, after the 5 weeks are up, you're just like, throw that piece away, throw that piece away. I only want the cool stuff.
I like that.
What do you look forward to when you become like a full-time archaeologist?
Becoming a full-time archaeologist. Well, I love teaching. So I'm looking forward to that. Because there are only a couple ways to become a full-time archaeologist, which is either to be a professor at a university teaching archaeology, or to become a contract archaeologist. And contract archaeology is less exciting because you don't get to choose the jobs that you want. You just have to work on whatever comes along. So I'm really looking forward to teaching because I love teaching, and also I love to travel. So getting to travel every single summer to Italy or Greece or the Near East or Egypt, that's really what I'm looking forward to.
Nolan.
Is there like a type of artifact that you want to find that you haven't found yet?
Yeah, I have never found a coin. I've never, there were a lot of people who found coins when I was excavating in Italy, but I was not one of those people. And this summer, actually, as well, I really wanted to find obsidian, which is this type of rock that was not native to the region that we were in. So it means that it was definitely like imported from somewhere else and carved into some sort of tool. And like a couple feet away from me, like the director of my project found like a chunk of obsidian blade, and he wasn't even supposed to be there. I was supposed to be digging that part, and he found it. I'm not bitter about it or anything.
And then this one probably will be our last one. Wyatt wants to know, what kind of music do you like and who's your favorite artist?
I have been listening to a lot of like indie rock recently.
Shocker. Shocker.
Yeah, Ex-Ambassadors I'm really into, and Lord Huron. And what was the second part of the question?
Your favorite artist?
My favorite artist? Oh, those two. Yeah, right now, I guess. Taylor Swift as well. I love Taylor Swift.
And the crown goes one. All right, well, thank you very much for doing this. We really appreciated getting some insight into some actual archaeology stuff. Can we give him a big hand, guys? You can tell they're all really camera shy over here. All right, again, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day and get back to your studying.
Yeah, okay. See y'all.